May I have your attention, please? My objective for today is to shed light on psychological phenomena and to propose a tool which may aid in its appreciation, knowledge production, treatment, and intervention. In 2023, the IRB, the Institutional Review Board at National University, approved a study of a small sample of adults diagnosed with major depressive disorder. The purpose of this study was to extract the meaningful essence of the lived experiences of trait attention deficits associated with abnormal time experiences in adults within this population. The theory guiding this study was cognitive load theory. And one of the three recommendations for pragmatic application, which emerged from the results of this study, was for clinicians and researchers to develop cognitive behavioral therapies which target working memory impairments, schematic processing impairments, both acquisition and automation, temporal processing impairments, theory of mind, and the redirection of attention. I bet y'all want to know who the researcher in the study was. It was me, and I made the recommendations. Okay, raise your hand if you've ever heard the term abnormal time experience before today. Okay. Raise your hand if you think you may have ever had an occurrence of an abnormal time experience. Okay. An abnormal time experience can be described as anomalous flow of temporal processing affecting both temporal character of awareness of the external environment and cohesion of situation and living subject of experience. So what that means is adults diagnosed with major depressive disorder commonly describe time passing as time dilation or incredibly slowly. Or sometimes they describe time passing as time acceleration, meaning that time is speeding. In my study, when I asked my participants, they described time passing as detachment, feeling stuck, feeling like they're just there, or time standing still. Even without a diagnosis, it's possible that you are experiencing time passing very differently from the person sitting next to you. And for me, it feels like maybe about 38.5 seconds have passed since I've been on stage, which means I feel time dragging by and then I'm moving incredibly swiftly through time. Existing research revealed that attention deficits are the primary deficits associated with major depressive disorder, and working memory, or consciousness as I like to refer to it, has been implicated in the existing research as a core impairment related to attention deficits, which underlie time perception anomalies. A trait attention deficit is a biological, neurocognitive, psychological impairment of attention, which touches attention subdomains such as selective attention, sustained attention, verbal fluency, working memory, and long-term memory, which may predispose an individual toward cognitive attentional abnormalities and neurocognitive psychological disorders, in this case, major depressive disorder. We often think of major depressive disorder in terms of its display, the impaired cognitive affective temporal functioning, presenting as depressed mood, loss of energy, recurrent and prolonged depressive episodes, which point to impairments of sustained attention. In fact, a study by Schmidt et al. In 2021 revealed that variability in reaction time, or intra-individual reaction time variability, a measure of sustained attention, using a culturally unbiased measure called the Continuous Visual Attention Test, is the best predictor of major depressive disorder across cultures. Here's the thing. Existing research literature explains that even when those depressive symptoms improve, the attention deficits yet persist. The fact of the matter is clinicians and researchers require therapeutic interventions which rigorously target trait attention deficits, which existing research literature described are the essence of what Stangalini in 2017 coined the disorder of lived time, that is major depressive disorder. I propose practical artificial intelligence, deep machine learning, a therapeutic treatment and intervention in MDD research. Here's what I suggest. An interactive neurocognitive visual spatial artificial intelligence agent to be used in therapy and treatment of attention deficits associated with abnormal time experiences within this population. This program would be adapted based on the effects of cognitive load theory and the tripartite relationship between the three types of cognitive load, with the intention to reduce intrinsic cognitive load and extraneous cognitive load, and to increase germane cognitive load for optimal learning. Germane cognitive load can be thought of as any tool or working memory resource that aids in learning material content that may be difficult to grasp, and it aids in long-term memory storage. Before my study was conducted, germane cognitive load was thought of only in terms of intrinsic cognitive load. But the implications of the results of my study showed that germane cognitive load can also be understood in terms of extraneous cognitive load. Okay. Trait attention deficits associated with abnormal time experiences in adults diagnosed with major depressive disorder points to a failure of the central executive network to appropriately allocate attention. And germane cognitive load attending extraneous cognitive load provides an explanation for the negative attention bias known to major depressive disorder. This tool allows us to closely analyze the data input, as there may be information that will lead to unlocking our next phase in human consciousness. Through the top-down approach to deep machine learning, we'll be able to compare the patterns of visual spatial attention of adults diagnosed with major depressive disorder and comorbidities. Initiating the bottom-up process will serve to further distinguish the cognitive attentional impairments. This program, modeled after rapid visual information processing tasks, together with functional magnetic resonance imaging, allows researchers and clinicians the neurocognitive information to provide an understanding which aids in isolating the trait attention deficit associated with the abnormal time experience within adults in this population. It's important for me to tell y'all that this artificial intelligence tool does not take the place of any human being. The tool will be used to collect data input from the individual attending therapy. They will interact with the tool. The information will be entered by the person using it. The therapist, the clinician, and the researcher will then use the information to interpret the biological response patterns to be analyzed in the output. This tool will provide clinicians and researchers with the mechanics for knowledge production in ways that may not have been considered ethical in psychotherapy before. This tool will benefit all DSM-5 clinically diagnosable mental disorders of individuals who have experienced occurrences of trait attention deficits and abnormal time experiences. We may be able to identify learning patterns of individuals with working memory capacity with mental capabilities beyond what we have been able to examine like never before, which deserves appreciation and inclusion. By implementing a deep machine learning tool such as this, we do not diminish our humanity. It gives us another opportunity to exhibit it. AI already has rich value in psychological research methods and design and diagnostics. The literature which explores bottom-up approaches is dense. For example, a study which I used in my literature review by Boyd et al. In 2022 highlighted goal management training a cognitive remediation program already in use in psychological therapy with adults diagnosed with major depressive disorder. By contrast, studies which have explored top-down approaches are sparse, and those which combine bottom-up and top-down approaches show promise, though there is considerable opportunity leading way in the field for more understanding and knowledge production for endeavors such as this. With this tool, we reach towards existential hermeneutical breakthrough. This may be a breakthrough for hybrid lifers, a neurocognitive psychological breakthrough for us all. I also want y'all to know that I am not an AI expert. I'm not even a practicing psychotherapist. I am a substitute teacher in the local school district here in Akron, and I have a group of at-risk, underprivileged, urban inner city youth who are entrusted to me, who I need to check in with. Who gets it? Thank you for your time and attention.